So continuing with our notes for week 2, lesson 5, where we're reviewing all of these concepts. We've made it all the way to key idea number 4, division. We finished 16. Oh, wait a minute. We finished 17 also. 16 and 17. I'm looking at my grid paper. So the answer to number 16 was 2/10. And the answer to number 17 was 30. And now we're ready to do 18. So let's pull out your grid paper. It's been a 3-day weekend. So sometimes it takes a little while to get those brain juices flowing. We're doing division. Why don't we review these rules before we jump into a division problem? When you are dividing decimals, the first thing you do is place the numbers appropriately inside and outside the division bar. Start with the number outside the division bar. Move the decimal to the right until you reach the end, counting the number of moves. Then move to the inside, the number on the inside, and move the decimal the same number of spaces. Move your pencil straight up and write the decimal, and then ignore the decimal and divide as usual. So Graham, help us get started on number 18. The first thing we have to be careful of is where we put our numbers, what goes inside the bar and what goes outside the bar. So what number are you putting outside the bar here?
3.
0.03. That's 300ths, 0.03. So that means over here on the inside is 21.3, which is 21 3/10. All right, so Hannah, the second rule says you start with the number outside the division bar. Move the decimal to the right until you reach the end, counting the number of moves. So in number 18, when we start here on the outside, how many moves does it take us to get all the way to the end?
2.
1, 2. That's right.
And then for the one inside, you're going to make it 2, but then you'll have to add a 0.
Okay, that's exactly right. So in order to move 2 spaces here, I've got to add that 0, bring it straight up, and now we just ignore it. So we're dividing 3 into this big number. My goodness, that's a big number. Now, is 2 big enough? Davis, will 3 go into 2? It won't. So now we look at 21. Will 3 go into 21? Now, if you don't remember your 3 times table, let's start with one that you probably do know. How about 3 times 5? Do y'all know that one?
3 times what?
3 times 5.
15.
That's 15. So let's just keep going until we get closer to 21. If I put 3 more with it for 3 times 6, where am I? 18. Not there yet. If I put 3 more with it for 3 times 7, where do we go?
21.
Yeah, there we go. That's what we need, didn't it? So 3 divides into 21 7 times. Now, look, where you put the 7 is important. You didn't divide 3 into 2, did you?
No.
You divided 3 into 21. So the 7 goes up here above the 1 for the 21. Now, our little thing to help us remember is, does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? Because there are a lot of steps to division. We just did the division. Now we multiply. What is 3 times 7?
21.
21. The S stands for subtract. The C stands for compare. We want this number to be smaller than our divisor, and 0 smaller than 3. And B is bring down. And guys, as long as you've got something to bring down, you keep repeating this cycle until you don't have anything left to bring down. So we go back up here to the division, but this time we're dividing 3 into 3. Graham, how many times will 3 go into 3?
2 times.
Will it?
Six. Oh, wait. 18.
We're doing the division. How many times will 3 divide into 3?
Oh.
What's 3 times 1?
3.
So it'll go 1 time, right? It'll only go 1 time. Now we multiply. 1 times 3 is 3. Subtract, we get 0 again, which compares well. We do have a number to bring down. And if you've got a number to bring down, then you have to keep doing this cycle. So we've got an easy one here. Davis, how many times will 3 go into 0? Okay, what number tells you no times? 0. You got to have that 0 here. 0 times 3 is 0. You subtract, you get 0. There's nothing left to bring down. So there's a big old number there. The answer to number 18 is 710. All right, number 19. Got to set it up right. Hannah, what number goes outside the division bar?
5.
It is a 5. Now, I noticed everybody, she just said 5. She didn't say a decimal. She just said the word 5. Does 5 have a decimal?
Yes.
It sure does. Graham, do you know where the decimal is?
At the front. No, at the end.
At the end, you're exactly right. Let's go ahead and write that. We don't want to get confused as we go forward. It does have a decimal. All right, so since Hannah correctly said 5 goes on the outside, that means 1.25 goes on the inside. That's 1 25 hundredths. So, Graham, we're going to come to this outside number, and our rule says start with the number outside, move the decimal to the right until you reach the end, counting the number of moves. So I'm going to put my pencil on the decimal. How many moves do I do?
1.
Well, really?
2.
Isn't it already at the end?
Yeah.
No moves at all, right? 0 moves because it's already sitting there at the end. So since I did 0 moves here, Davis, how many moves will I do inside?
1 time.
Well, it's actually going to be 0. See, over here on the outside number, that's where you move it to the end and you count your number of moves, but we didn't move it, did we? No moves at all on the outside, which means no moves at all on the inside. You just bring that straight up, okay? Sometimes it's kind of tricky. So does that make sense that we don't move the decimal because it's already at the end? Is that clear?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So now we're ready to divide. Does McDonald's sell cheeseburgers? So Hannah, is 1 big enough for 5 to go into it?
No.
No, it's not. So we have to look at the 12. Will 5 go into 12?
Yes.
How many times?
2.
2 times. Graham, now we're going to multiply. What is 2 times 5?
10.
Now we're ready to subtract. We get 2. Does that compare well?
Yes.
And do we have anything to bring down?
Yes.
We bring down the 5 and we start all over again. Doing division. This time the 5 goes into 25. Davis, how many times will it go?
5 times.
You're right. It goes 5 times. Graham, now we're multiplying. What is 5 times 5?
25.
You're right. 25. Subtract and get 0. That compares well. There's nothing to bring down, so we're finished with number 19. The answer is 25 hundredths, 0.25. Okay? So, on the next page, these might look familiar where we did them before. Perimeter. Perimeter is the distance around an object. Looking at this object, How many sides are there to get you all the way around?
4.
4 sides will take you all the way around here. Perimeter would be if you started in a corner and measured this side, this side, this side, and go all the way back to where you started to see how far it is around there. If the perimeter of this square is 22 inches, how long is each side? Well, the special thing about a square is all 4 of these sides are the same measurement. They get an equal portion of the 22 inches. So Graham, do you have a suggestion how we might solve number 20? The distance all the way around is 22 inches, and we want to know how long one side is. You got any ideas for us?
No.
Hannah, you got any suggestions for us?
Maybe subtraction.
Well,
Or,
okay.
I mean, I'm sorry. Would it be division?
Yes, it is actually division. You see that 22 inches, which is the measurement that goes all the way around, is equally split up or equally divided by those 4 sides. Okay, I'm going to stop the video and start another one.